Hello and welcome. My name is Matt and, I've been a sleep clinician for over 10 years. So, before we begin, I would like to congratulate you, as I so often do, for making the very adult and very responsible decision to put your sleep first. Quite often in the world we live in, sleep is an afterthought. It's secondary to another worry we have. Maybe it's third or fourth. And let's be honest, there are seemingly a lot of things to worry about sometimes in life. And it would be nice if we could just go somewhere temporarily to escape. And that's exactly what our sleep clinic provides. A refuge from the world outside. Okay? Before we gather any of your details, I always find it easier. I always find myself at my most effective when I'm relaxed. My brain thinks clearer. There isn't that fuzziness, that, oh, what was it again? It's just there. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to take a seat, please. And the seat you're actually sitting in will recline and lay flat, or a slight arch, silently and effortlessly. So don't feel like you need to get ready to sleep just yet. Let's take a seat and really sit back into the chair. Really allow the furniture to absorb, to take the strain. You don't have to walk around. You don't have to stand. Just feel that effortlessness and the weightlessness. That in itself can be quite comforting. Now, we are going to perform something that we have invented, actually. There might have been an instance in time where someone else has done it, but as far as we're aware, we're the first to incorporate something like this. And we found it to be particularly effective at prepping the client for sharing their troubles where sleep is concerned, honestly. And we never have any prejudice. We're not here to judge you. We're here purely to help you sleep. What we'll be doing is taking a very simple brush. And we'll be painting the brush with a sleep oil. And even the glass. Even the glass has a relaxation property to it. Now, this sleep oil is essentially a blend of lemongrass and lavender. A lot of you will know that lavender aids with sleep. Lemongrass can do as well, but to a lesser extent. Lemongrass is more for the rejuvenation and restorative properties. But what we'll be doing, we'll be layering a little oil onto the brush. Just a little bit. And from there, we'll be painting your palms from fingertip to base. Then from the lifeline up into each finger. Following the lifeline. And then the thumb. Following the lifeline. The index. Following the lifeline. And so on. We'll do this with 10 fingers. And by the end of the process, you'll be in a far more relaxed, far more meditative state. Now, you will be aware. Let me just prepare the oil. Of course, I need to be very, very delicate here. It wouldn't be the first time I may have dropped one of our essential oil glasses. Now, this is just very, very, very delicate. Very delicate. Just a couple of drops is all we need. And you see how the brush absorbs the oil. It just seeps in effortlessly. 3 drops. So our brush is loaded with this essential, and it smells gorgeous. Am I right? Just replace. Okay. Now, if you'd just extend your hand, please. Now again, you can close your eyes at this stage if you wish to. All I'll be doing is brushing from ear to tip. Okay? Good. And we're following the lifeline. Good. Good. And we'll do each finger. And what this allows us to do, the hand will absorb the oil quite quickly, and it'll find its way into your body, and you'll feel almost an immediate sense of relaxation. You can just sit back, close your eyes, and if you have enough energy, you can answer some of my questions. You can perhaps hear the brush strokes on your hand, just making sure that every finger is covered. And again, your hand won't be dripping oil. It's obviously quite sheer, and it won't feel oily because it's used sparingly, and the brush applies quite delicately. Now, a lot of our customers, a lot of our clients, and our colleagues, companies we're networking with, everyone is becoming well informed. We're becoming more aware of the things our body needs to relax. If you just give me your other hand, please. Thank you. We're becoming more aware of the things we need. What our body requires, what our own minds needs to be happy. And this is fantastic, and of course you'll be well aware of the explosion, the gargantuan growth of ASMR. And while we are not an ASMR clinic, we certainly try to incorporate some of the philosophies and techniques from ASMR into our works. And if by any chance you're experiencing ASMR, just from the sensation of itself, I'll take you through a little demo of what we just did. The hand itself has so many nerve endings, even the feeling of these 500 little brush strokes. The hand is able to portray and recreate every sensation in the brain. All the tiny little bristles. It's soft and incredibly relaxing, and the reason we start from the lifeline up like so. Some people believe, but it's actually a little bit more scientific. There are a lot of nerve endings at the base of the hand, and if you were to rise up from there, up to the middle finger, hopefully you can attest how relaxing that actually is. Good. Good. Now, with your eyes closed, I would like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay. And it's to help us ascertain the kind of person that you are, the kind of things that you carry around in our big brains, the kind of worries, if any, you might carry on your shoulders. Now, if you would like a glass of water at any point, you can smell the fresh lemon. And these lemons actually grow in our own garden. It's just next to you if you need it, okay? Good. Now, how are we feeling? These questions are very straightforward. I'm not going to be asking you any math questions or anything to do with grammar or spelling. It's far less scientific. Although the questions and the answers themselves have been designed and structured in such a way that, again, we're able to really glean from it who you are. Okay? And none of these details will be specifically personal. I don't need your name. The only really personal detail I would like is your age. Okay, good. The next question is always an interesting one for me, but how old do you think you are? And I don't necessarily mean how old does your body feel, because sometimes we all have aches and pains, but mentally speaking, how old do you think you really feel? Okay. And why do you say that? Okay. I think comparing ourselves to other people, it's something we read a lot about in media, social media, that we should never compare ourselves to other people because it's their life and you're living your life. Well, it's advice like that, and we are probably guilty of it as well, but it's advice like that that doesn't really help. It doesn't enable us. It's factual, probably, but it's not useful. We want the tools how to not compare ourselves to other people. We want the tools to show us why we shouldn't, not the reason why, the how we shouldn't. Because it's normal. Our brain makes comparisons every day. And we have aspirations. Okay. Do you remember the first time, let's say in the last 3 years, that you had trouble sleeping? That's as long as that, okay. If you've been struggling with sleep for an extended period of time, my only wish is that you had come to see us sooner. But fear not. You are here now. Okay. Good. Very good. Last night, can you tell me how many hours sleep you got? It's a two-part question. The first part is how many uninterrupted hours sleep did you get? Meaning the kind of last thing you remember to the point that you first woke up, if you remember. Okay. Good. Very good. And how many hours sleep in total did you receive? Right. And when you do wake up, completely awake, if you were to grade how you feel, firstly, physically speaking, between 1 to 10, 1 being, I feel so awful, I can't even get to bed. 10 being, I'm ready to run 10 marathons. Physically speaking. Okay? Is that ordinary? Is that quite regular for you? Okay. And how about mentally? I'm aware that people have been known to fall asleep during the knowledge gathering, but if you do, it's no issue. I'll continue the process because some people do find it relaxing, and then I'll proceed to the next stage. And very quickly, I'd like to touch on dietary. Now, I like to eat whatever I like to eat. And as a clinician, I should advise you the importance of getting your 5 a day, even if it seems almost impossible. Unless you're vegetarian, perhaps, in which case it's probably a lot easier. And vegans, I guess, as well, have a far easier time. But if you're a typical day, what does that look like? Are you eating 3 meals a day, or are you eating smaller regularly, perhaps? Okay. Fine. Yeah. Okay. And how often do you treat yourself with food? Now, this feels more like a psychologist's question, and we're not psychoanalyzing you. But what we are doing is understanding the kind of blood sugars, glucose levels that your brain is seeing before it goes to sleep. Which leads me, of course, on to the next question. Caffeine. How much or how many cups of tea or coffee do you drink in a day? I appreciate it can vary disaster to disaster. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Good. Okay, and my final question, at least for now, is this your first time visiting a sleep clinic? Okay. This could be over 100 times. Always the same clinic? Different clinics. Well, maybe we can change that. Okay. Very good. Thank you. I appreciate that the get to know you stuff can be a little dry. But for us it helps formulate a picture within a picture of you and your sleeping patterns. Okay? Thank you. Now the next portion determines, or rather, is determined by some of your answers. And very quickly, we see patterns emerging in people. And you would be surprised how similarly we answer to other people. Do you know, I'll tell you a funny story. And this is part of our process, but it isn't essential. Okay. Now, there was a man. Okay. And this is true. This is true. There was a man who he gathered a group of people together. He told them that he was a psychic and that he was going to prove to them he was a psychic. And he asked for each of these people for them to hand over something personal of theirs to him so he could take it away and analyze it. Now the sample of people that he picked were all wildly different. Okay? People from all walks of life. And they all gave him a bangle or a bracelet or a ring or something they've had on their body for quite a long time. That's imperative in the process. And I remember one of the girls had said that how different she is from other people, and there was a guy that said that people don't understand him, and he's always found it difficult to relate to people. So he takes these items away, and for each person he writes a character description and the story of their life so far. And in the end, he gets all the people together and sits them in a circle. And he hands each of them a brown envelope. And inside the brown envelope is his interpretation of their lives to this point. Some of their experiences, their ambitions, their goals. lazy is important to them. Okay. So the people each took their document away, and then they were asked to score how accurate he was. Needless to say, the response was overwhelming. They couldn't believe the accuracy. They couldn't believe how well this man knew who they were, what their struggles and what their fears had been in life. And the interesting part about this story is that each person was given the exact same document. He had written something very generic, but from the generic document, people were able to realize that we aren't so different from the person next door. Our personalities, our immediate personality might be different, but at our core, we are all very, very similar. So when we are analyzing what seems like very simplistic questions, we're able to find what makes you, you. And of course there are an innumerable number of reasons why people can't sleep. The why isn't what's innumerable, it's the cause. What's behind the reason, what happened to the person. And even in some cases it's dramatic, in some cases it's just chemical. But we are usually able to identify the cause and help address it. We're not psychiatrists, okay? We're not here to psychoanalyze you. We're just counteracting the inability to sleep. And for somebody who is in quite a stressful environment, who's seeing a lot of pressure on themselves, either by yourself or by others, we found this very strange technique. My beard, as an example, it's oiled, it's relatively well trimmed a couple days ago, it's uniform. But what happens when we take life here, life is a brush, and we go against the grain. Suddenly life isn't quite so uniform. Suddenly things are where they shouldn't be. Suddenly we just wish we could make it better. Here, we can. This is a very simple but effective technique of showing you how life can go from being chaotic, messy, to as it should be for you. Now, what I would like to do is equip you with a new pair of link with resistant. Because, as unattractive as it might sound, a lot of us sweat quite heavily when we sleep, for one reason or another. And these will fit very comfortably just behind the head, are worn like so. All we have is a simple wire running along the back of the head, which is cushioned into the pillow. So I'm going to put these onto you. Now, because these are over ear, you should still be able to hear me without any kind of obstruction. Good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the gentle sound of rainfall. It's going to be quite gentle at first, perhaps a little wind. Now, you are safe and entirely secure. You're warm, without being too warm. You're centered. You can hear the raindrops. You can hear that the seasons are changing. I'd like you to take a deep breath for me. Hold. Release. Another deep breath. Fill your lungs and breathe. Again, this is a very well understood technique whereby we are oxygenating your blood, and it just deepens the relaxation, and it's almost as if you're in a little hammock and it's rocking back and forth. You can hear the rain, but you don't feel it. You know it's coming down, but you don't care about it. It's there, and it's pleasant, but it doesn't concern you. In fact, you begin to realize that nothing concerns you. You have no care, no worry here, just a sense of relaxation, relaxing, relaxing, relaxation. And with every word I speak, you find yourself drifting deeper and deeper into this relaxation. If you haven't already, I would suggest you close your eyes and just listen to the sound of my voice. If you remember, we started with painting the palms. We will finish with a gentle relaxation because the massage eases out the tension, and we're not applying a lot of pressure here. It's just gentle. But all the stress of the day, all that worry, what he has, what she has, what they have, what you don't have, what they did, this amazing place they saw, you don't care about it. What you have here is something that they will never. You have peace. You have relaxation. Your hand is completely limp, which is good. It means you're deeply, deeply relaxed. Good. And I'm just moving the thumb ever so gently around the very tip of the fingers, really working in the relaxation. Good. Again, it's very slow and very deliberate. Nothing's rushed. We're not in a hurry here. Good. Good. And I can just take your other hand. Wonderful. Wonderful. Your right hand is holding a little bit more tension than your left. That's common. Most people are right-handed. I'm actually a left-hander myself. Good. And you can just hear the thumb there really working its way, pushing that tension out of your body. It has no place here. No place at the clinician's office. Good. Good. Index finger. Hopefully we don't spend too much time